All right, I'm back, y'all. I'm back. I think I ran into like some sort of a technical issue or something. I hit hard eights, and man, as soon as I got in there, selected my food, I got distracted, and before you knew it, before you freaking knew it, I think my stream ended early or whatnot. Anyway, I said a lot of really important things, all right, in the last stream, all right? A lot of very important things. And anyway, I've got some more important things that I want to share with you all. And we'll go from there. I had to eat a little bit of beans. You know, I'm one of those types of people. I cannot eat where I'm not comfortable, and I'm never really comfortable unless I'm at home. And so, shout out to each and every one of you that was in the last stream, the last live. Sorry, it got all jacked. But it is what it is. Anyway, I'm going to be, probably tomorrow, I'm going to be showing you all some of these medications, like, in detail, making it a more official type of live. I do feel like some folks, some of my audience could absolutely use, the information that I'm sharing right now. So, hopefully those of you, you'll come back in or whatnot. And I'll be sharing more about living with a brain tumor and the migraines and the headaches that come with it. The biggest problem for me is the fear. The fear of, okay, I'm getting these headaches and I can't break them with the normal course of medications. Does that mean there's been some sort of change, in the tumor itself? And I had an MRI done in February, actually. And luckily, there hadn't been a huge, like, growth spurt in my tumor since the last MRI that I had done, which was, I want to say about 2.5 years ago. And one of the things about having a brain tumor, especially one that is in a non-operable location, which I'm considered non-operable at this point. Unfortunately, I had one brain surgery. I don't ever want to go through that again. When you talk about a scary ass surgery to go through, baby, oh my God. You try, getting ready for a brain surgery, okay? That's some scary shit to prepare yourself for. Don't ever want to go through that ever again, right? But the fear of every time I go to get an MRI, right? The fear of going into my doctor's office to hear the results. And my doctor's so good at delivering results, right? He's really good at delivering, results. Even when it's not the greatest of news, right? But when you have situations where you're getting headaches that you can't break, does that mean that there's been some kind of really serious change in the tumor itself? Has it had a significant period, has it grown significantly? That sort of a thing. And the tumor that I have, it's like I said, it's called a meningioma. And it is, it's a non-cancerous tumor. So luckily it's not cancer. I'm so grateful for that. My tumor is more of like a ball that presses into the brain versus tentacles that grow into the brain. So instead of it growing in, it presses in. And believe me, a meningioma can cause just as many problems as a non-cancerous tumor could cause, sans the cancer. Neither one is good. But, you know, it is what it is, right? This is the card that I've been dealt. And so anyway, I would never want to go through another brain surgery because, again, man, the recovery from that is, oh my God, I couldn't imagine trying to recover from that at 46 or 50. I'm glad that when I did have my first brain surgery, I was only in my late 20s. So it allowed me to recover, I think, and bounce back a lot quicker. But medication, man, is a big part of living with one and dealing with all of the different possible side effects of having one. Like I said, headaches is always an indicator that something in your body ain't right. And I remember before I got diagnosed with my brain tumor in my late 20s, I was having some serious headaches, incapacitating headaches. And, man, if I would have got a CAT scan or an MRI, then I would have found out, that I had the tumor. But the way that I came to find out that I had the brain tumor was I had a grand mal seizure one day. Matter of fact, I know exactly the day. It was April 27th on my 27th year of life. I had full-on tonic-clonic, baby. Had a whole Jacksonian march situation happen and started in my foot, marched up my leg, and then I was out. I just remember waking up to a lot of people sitting, around me, asking me if I'm okay. To EMTs asking me, am I okay? Asking me what the day was, who the president of the United States was, that sort of a thing. And then I was on my way to the hospital. Like, there was no, do you want to go? No, I was going. They wasn't going to take no for an answer. And when I got in there, I mean, the first thing they did was threw me into a CAT scan. I wish I would have had one done prior. But even if I would have had one done prior, there's no promise that I would have even ended up having surgery. The only reason why I ended up having the surgery itself is because, number one, the seizures. Numero uno, goddamn. Damn. Let me over. Thank you. But it also, my leg was like having problems after the first grand mal seizure that I had. My leg was useless, and until they resected that tumor, I didn't even get any life back into my left leg. I lost so much muscle just waiting to get the brain surgery. I had to wait almost 2 months to get my brain surgery, and I lost so much muscle mass in my left leg, my calf, my thigh, because I couldn't use the leg like, normal. So it just, it wastes, essentially, and it is what it is. If I would not have had that tumor removed, I would not have the use of my leg today, for sure. And I can't tell you how important physical therapy is after a health event like that. if I wouldn't have went to physical therapy and been a stickler for it, I went like 3 days a week, 3 to 4 days a week, I was going to physical therapy. I would not even got the use back into my leg that I did get. I recovered probably a good 90 to 95% of the use of my leg. My foot has continued to kind of stay somewhat impaired or paralyzed, more so the 3 little toes on my left foot. I can't bend them. I have to bend them periodically, at least a couple times a day. I have to remind myself so that they don't stiffen up. But I haven't been able to like bend my toes since I was 27 years old, man. And I'm talking, you got to learn how to walk differently, all that type of shit. But man, just kind of going back and having all those different memories of all the shit that I went through. Like I said, it took me about a year to recoup and recover from that, all of that, the surgery, the physical therapy, all that type of shit. But believe me, it was a rough, tough ass year. It really was. Anyway, so it leads me to here I am, 46 years old. Unfortunately, the first surgery that they did, they had to do some grafting and stuff like that. And because the tumor has grown down, it's kind of pressing down in between both halves of my brain. And it's sitting on my sagittal sinus area, and it's such a sensitive area there. It's absolutely, you've got fluid that runs from your brain through your entire nervous system, through those vents, those vents essentially that are on top of your brain. And between that and the scar tissue from the first surgery, I'm pretty much inoperable. I've been to 3 neurosurgeons in Dallas, and I'm talking top tier neurosurgeons. Matter of fact, one of them specialized in my type of tumor, and took on risky surgeries, and my surgery was too risky. It's too high of a probability that I would not survive another surgery. So here I am living with the fact that the only option I would ever have, let's say that my tumor had like a growth spurt or grew too big or grew big enough to where it started causing paralysis or other types of issues, right? Would be radiation therapy. And even radiation is a fucking gamut, man. It really, really is. The scary thing about radiation therapy is the potential for a cancerous growth to happen in your body. There's been a lot of people, a lot of studies I've read, which people, had like radiation on a non-cancerous tumor and ended up getting a cancerous brain tumor 10 years later. So when I really look at it, looking back now, it's been, almost 20 years since I had my brain surgery. And I gained 20 extra years. I definitely would not have been I would not be alive if it hadn't have been for that first surgery. No question about that. I would not be alive. There's no telling how long I had that brain tumor before it was discovered. And I suspect I had it for a few years before it was discovered. Because I definitely dealt with like migraine headaches and some other symptoms, seizure-like symptoms, up to 2 years before I got the diagnosis. And my meningioma is such a slow-growing tumor. It would have had to have been there for quite a while. So it could have been there since I was a teenager. It could have been there since I was a 5-year-old girl. One thing that I remember the neurosurgeon asked me when he walked in that room the day after I had the grand mal seizure, and I was in ICU. They were, man, I was tore up from the floor up. I've been in ICU twice in my life, and let me tell you something, it is not a fun experience. It's not even like a normal hospital stay at all. There's nothing normal about a stay in ICU, because every 15 minutes, nurses are coming in there bothering you. They want something from you. They want you to acknowledge their presence, look at them. I need some urine, I need some blood, I need something. It was a constant interruption and disturbance, but that was because they were literally saving my life. I went into ICU the night that I had the seizure. After I went through the ER, I got the diagnosis. They actually had to transfer me to a bigger hospital that night. I had to go by ambulance, but the truth is, I don't really remember much of that night. I remember when the doctor came in and delivered the news. And I remember him saying I was going to be transferred to another hospital. I do remember that, but I don't remember much after that. And they was pumping me so full of medications that I don't think I didn't wake up till like 4 o'clock the following morning, when a beautiful face neurosurgeon that I will not name was walking into my room at 4:30 in the morning, and I was looking out the window at the ships that were in port in Norfolk. This happened in Norfolk, Virginia. I was looking out at the ships. It was such a beautiful sunrise. God, who would have known 20 years later that my son would be, living in that same city, working out of that port? Who would have known, man? It's a lot of like good memories, but a lot of sad memories, and a lot of heartbreak and shit like that I went through during that time. But I will say, like I said, I'll come and do a live when I'm feeling a little better, a little bit more official, a little more professional. But they definitely saved my life. I think I spent 2 or 3 days in ICU after the initial diagnosis and finding out. And then they transferred me to another room. They downgraded me from ICU to normal hospital care. And even then, like, I was having seizures in the hospital that would just start coming on. And I remember sitting in the room one time, my mom was there, and I said, "Man, Mom, I don't feel right. Something's happening." And I just started panicking. Now, hell, I didn't know this is what it felt like before a seizure comes on. But I kind of had a feeling, because of the first situation. But again, it was the second seizure I had in the hospital. And I told my mom, I said, "Man, I don't feel right. Something's about to happen." And I'll be damned, I started having a seizure, another seizure. And my mom flew all the way out a couple of times just to be with me when I was in Virginia. When I had my surgery, she was there. She kept trying to get me to wear a damn wig after my surgery, but man, I couldn't do it. It's too hot. It's too hot, too scratchy. I got this big ass horseshoe on my head and all these staples, and let other people be uncomfortable with their eyes. If they look at me and they get uncomfortable, that's their problem. Shit, I'm surviving day by day, man. Biscuit's looking at me like, "Bitch, when are we going to be home?" We're almost there. We're about an hour and a half out. But anyway, so many stories I could tell. And I'm so grateful I had my family there, because if it wasn't for them, man, all the laughs, the laughter got me through so many hard times, so many scary nights. I was so scared to go to sleep by myself after my brain surgery. I kid you not. I slept in the living room. I essentially slept in the same room in the living room with a woman named Zena. Might as well call her like family, for like a whole month, because I could not, I was too afraid to sleep by myself. I was scared I was going to die. And now it's like I think about it, and I don't really have that same fear of death like I did when I was younger. And I think the fact that my children have grown up has a lot to do with that, if not everything to do with that. The only thing I ever wanted was to be able to raise my kids up and get them raised up so that they were on their own, because nobody else was going to do the job I could do. And God gave me that. So if God forbid something happened tomorrow, man, I've set out to, I've done quite a lot in my life, and I'm just grateful that I've even made it here. I would love to live another 20, 30, 40 years, of course. But let me tell you, you get enough of these headaches, after a while, you start feeling really bad. Just your overall quality of life is just, ugh, it's so much. Oh my God, it's hard to describe. But I think I'm finally on the mend now. Thank God for my neurologist. And it doesn't always have to go to like, having to get on heavy duty pain medicine. And nobody wants to live their life like that. That diminishes your quality of life also. And so my goal is to try to reduce as much medication that I need to take to make my life, somewhat decent, especially when you've had a headache for a whole month. Um, to try to not, reduce as much medication as you possibly need to take, enjoying each day when you wake up, being happy, and traveling, man. And I'm doing all the things that I want to do in life, period. I'm not even wasting time. Um, I travel like crazy. And I travel to different countries like crazy, man. I'm planning a big ass 2-week vacation right now that I won't even go into details about right now. That could potentially be a type of trip where I may see several countries in this particular 2-week period. And I'm just living life, enjoying it, living for the moment, keeping a roof over my head and all that type of shit. Not having a mortgage really helps with that. I'm really glad that I made the decision that I did, because someone, like me, that is dealing with health situations and all that sort of a thing, man, you just live different. For me, anyway, my choice. I just live different. I saved up 5 damn years so that I could live without having to pay to live. And I still feel like I made the best decision I could have ever made. There's no 30-year mortgage attached to me. I don't have, all I got to do is just pay my insurance every year. My house is brand new. And I got plenty of space. I'm not on top of people. And, I'm just grateful too that I'm in a position where I can work from home and do the work that I started doing almost 30 years ago. So anyway, I said all that to say, it can be very miserable when you're dealing with a migraine that has lasted for a full-on damn month, right? Hey guys, it can be very miserable. I'm at a stop right now. But there's hope out there. There is hope out there. There really, really is. Say hi, Biscuit. We're on our way home. We are on our way home. I'm about an hour and a half out. I'm about to hit the piney woods, so I'm going to lose my connection, my reception or whatnot. So I'm going to go ahead and end the live. Plus, I can't fidget with my phone while I'm driving anyway. But thanks to those of you that came through. I appreciate you all. And I think I will have like a little series to talk about, you know, life after a brain tumor diagnosis. Dealing with some of the side effects of having a brain tumor diagnosis, you know. How much, you know, 20